Hey guys, today we're going to be doing this cute multi-animal print set. I'm going to start off as usual by pushing back the cuticles, and then I'm just going to go in with my fine sanding band at 4,000 rotations per minute to remove the shine. There's also a little excess gel left over from the last set that I didn't want to keep scraping to remove. Now I'm just going to go in with my cuticle bit to remove any excess dead skin on the nail plate. I'm using this also at 4,000 rotations per minute. After I'm done cutting my cuticles, it did leave a pretty good space in between where I had previously filed. So I'm just going back in with my cuticle bit one more time to remove up any excess. Once I'm done prepping my natural nail, I'm going to go ahead and just dust them off and then wipe them clean with some alcohol. Today I am going to be going in with some natural nail strengthener by Nail Aid. The first step I'm going to use is the collagen, and then I'm going to go in with the keratin builder. Both of these are air dry, so I'm just going to apply them one after the next after about 2 minutes of air drying. And this is just going to help repair my nails from all of the dehydration that the multiple acetone soak-offs were causing. I've also been moving, so they've been splitting a little bit more easily or breaking a little bit more easily. So I just want to do anything that I can to keep them healthy underneath each set. So since I have been repeatedly soaking off my nails and I am trying to strengthen them, I'm going to go in with some peel off base coat so that way I don't have to soak them off this next time. This is also air dry. So again, just applying this third step, letting it air dry before we go in with our extensions. So So now I'm just going to make sure that all of the extensions are a perfect fit to my natural nail by filing them down. And then I'm going to go in and chemically etch them with some primer, just enough to remove the sizing number. Now I'm just going to go ahead and apply the extensions. I'm just applying the gel inside the tip and then applying it to my natural nail at a 45-degree angle, pressing down until the gel reaches the free edge and flash curing. Once all the nails are flash cured, this is what everything is looking like. I'm just going to go ahead and cure them in the full-size lamp for 60 seconds. And then I'm just going to file them with my 100 grit file to shape. Now I'm just going to remove the shine from each nail so that way all of the polish and the design adheres well. You can also just use a buffing block if you want, but I get satisfaction from doing it this way. Now I'm going to go in and seal the cuticle with my extra fine drill bit. Once I've finished with the drill, I'm going to go in with the extra step to seal the cuticle just by brushing the cuticle area with acetone, trying to make it even more flush. This step is completely optional, but I'm just going to go in with some pink gel paint and try to mask my natural nail a little bit. My natural nail beds are very long, and once I wear my nails long, my hyponychium gets even longer, so it's hard to even really have short nails and cut off that extra yellowish part of the nail. So I'm just going in with this to blend it out a little better. It just looks a little more aesthetically pleasing when I wear French tips or a nude polish. So this is just a little comparison of what it looks like with and without it. It definitely helps once you put the nude color on top, but I'm just going to cure that for 60 seconds before I go in with my nude base color. So I'm just cleaning up the cuticle areas, and then I'm going to cure that for 60 seconds before I go in with my second base color polish. The first one I really like because it kind of masks the natural nail, and then the second one is a little bit more pink. I think the first one is no longer being sold, which really sucks because I love it so much, but it's the Narrow Reserve Sea Swing and Sun. And then this one I just got right off of Amazon. And then again, I'm just going to cure this for 60 seconds before I go with my French tips. For both my index and middle fingers, I did make the colors, and I also added white to what was shown on the screen. And for both of these, I did apply 2 coats. But for the white and the nude on the pinky, I just went in with 1 since it was pretty opaque. And for the index, I did go in with that same nude from the pinky on top of it, just to make it a little bit less yellow before I went in with my design. Okay, so we're going to start off with the cow print. The technique or the trick for making any animal print really look realistic and just aesthetically pleasing is to make it not symmetrical, because obviously that is how it's found in the wild. So for the cow print, I guess the easiest way to explain it is I kind of start off with a rectangle and then veer off on either side with like a little squiggle. It's easiest for me to do this with the dotting tool. I did start off with a larger dotting tool at first to get the larger print, and then I go in with smaller ones. The key is definitely to have different shapes, different sizes. And then once I was happy with this, and every nail I did flash cure them just so I didn't ruin my design. For the zebra print, same concept. You don't want it to be symmetrical in any way. But for this, I am using, I believe, my 20 millimeter lining brush, and I'm making the edges towards the outside of my nail thicker and then making them thinner towards the center, and just doing lines that kind of meet somewhat in the center. But you do see there that I have like a little triangle line as well. Again, it does not need to be and should not be symmetrical in any way. But the main point is to make it thicker on the outside, thinner on the inside, and just make every line look different. And I do like to go all the way down to the sides of the French. I do like a deep French, so even that part where I have like a millimeter of white, I'm going down to add a line. I'm making sure there is not too much white left over. I do want to make sure I fill up the nail, but I also don't want it to be too full, if that makes sense. And then for the cheetah, these are similar to the dots that I did for the cow print, but it's more so like a dot versus super irregularly shaped. I mean, it's definitely still irregular, but it's more symmetrical in terms of like diameter. So I'm going to go in with the brown first, and then I'm going to cure that for the full 60 seconds. And then I'm going to roughly outline with black. And I don't want to outline the entire thing. I'm doing anywhere between like 50% to 80% outlined. I still want to leave some of the brown just uncovered. And some of these can be like outlined 75% of the way without lifting up the detailing brush or the dotting tool, but some of them are like 50-50 where I do it on either side and there's 2 gaps, or there might only be 1 gap. Again, everything is very different. And then I'm just going in with some random dots of black alone, even if there is no brown, again, just to make it as unique and non-symmetrical as possible. And then for this snake print, I'm going to go in with some base coat. I didn't have any blooming gel, so I'm going to use base coat, do not cure it. And then I'm going in with my main color, and I'm just using my dotting tool, going straight down the center in one direction. And then when I go back, I'm going to go the other direction. So if I start off left to right, I'm going to do every line left to right, and then I'm going to go back over that same line, but I'm going to go right to left just to make it. This one I do want a little bit more symmetrical, just to make those lines in the center more like of a rectangle. And then I'm just going to go on the sides and go downward towards my cuticle. And then I'm just patting it down a little bit so that gel can relax and everything can form before I cure it. So now for the tortoise shell, after I applied that tan on top that I mentioned earlier, I'm going in with base coat, not curing it, and going straight in with the design. For these, I'm going to do a lot larger than all of the other designs. There's roughly only going to be like 5 of these marks, and I'm using this clear brown color. I'm going to do these until I like it. If I don't like it, I'll just dab with acetone to kind of feather it out or remove some. I do cure that fully, and then I go back in with a little bit of base coat again and some black. Unfortunately, that clip deleted. But after that, fully cure, and then I go in with that same brown color, but I dilute it with clear just to kind of meld everything together a little bit. And then fully cure again before I go in with my top coat. I really like how this set turned out. This is one of my favorite nail designs. I love abstract, where every nail is different, but it still is cohesive. I can't decide which nail is my favorite. Green is my favorite color, so I'm inclined to go with the snake print, but I'm really leaning towards the zebra. Comment down below, let me know which nail is your favorite, as well as if you have any video suggestions. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.